Hello, today I am sharing 3 cards I'm making as part of the design team for Make the Cards Challenge. The challenge this month is to create a card with a black background. I've created 3 and I'm going to share with you here the process of how I created those. All of my cards today are going to be 5 1/4 inches square, and I will use a white card base and I'll just add a black panel to the front of it. Every one of the cards today uses the Deco Foil Transfer Gel Duo through a stencil. To this particular stencil I have had for many years. I don't think it's even a scrapbooking or art journaling stencil. I think it was one that you use with a stylus to make an impression. But anyway, what I'm doing is I'm using my mint tape to attach my stencil to my card front. Then I'm going to use my palette knife to put a coat of the Transfer Gel Duo through that stencil. I'm going to do that for all 3 card fronts, except I'm going to use a different stencil on each one. So this floral one I will use, and I don't know the name of that. One of the others that I'll use is a Crafter's Workshop Mini Labyrinth, and the other one is a quarter of a Mandala, and I don't know the brand of that one either. I haven't kept the packaging for that one, so I can't help you if you ask me what brand that is. I've got no idea. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing with all 3. Use my mint tape, attach the stencil to the background, and use my palette knife to apply my gel through it. Now I'm going to try and get my coat of gel as smooth as I can and make sure that I get it into all the nooks and crannies. Now I've left these to dry overnight. When the gel goes on, it goes on white, and when it's dry and ready to use, it is clear. So that's how you know to go ahead and start with your technique. For the first one, I am going to use my iridescent powder. It's like a pearl powder, similar to Pearl-Ex or those sorts of things. This one's called Iridescent Violet, so it looks white in the bottle, but when you actually apply it, it comes up purple. I'm going to use a flat, soft, bristled brush to apply the powder. So I'm just dipping it into the powder and then dipping my brush into the powder, that is, and then spreading that all around my stencil want The powder goes on messily, and you want to be careful. As you can see here, I've got too much on my brush there, because a little bit goes a long way. You put it on, rub it in, brush it in nice and firmly, and then once you have all the powder all over the design, you can take a tissue or microfiber cloth, whatever you have, something dry, not wet, and just wipe all over the background. That will take all of the excess powder off and just leave the colour on the sticky transfer gel. You can see the beautiful shine you have on your piece once you've finished. My second technique, I'm going to do some foiling over my gel. So I'm using Deco Foil for that, and this one is called Summer Rainbow. So it's a variegated one, and all I have to do is cut a piece of foil, lay it over the top of my piece of cardstock with the design on it, and then use my brayer to roll over the top. Now I peeled this back and had a look, and most of it had covered, but some of it I wanted a bit more foil on, so I took my bone folder and just rubbed over the top of the areas where I wanted a bit more foil to be attached. But this worked perfectly, and it looks so great with the rainbow coloured foil. It's just so colourful, and once again got a beautiful shine to it. For my third technique, I'm going to use some gold flakes, or some people call it gold leaf. This comes from the Cheapest Chips, and I just thought I'd give it a try. So this one's rose gold. I'm going to just sprinkle a bit of that. It goes everywhere, and once you get these flakes out of the packet, you'll never get them back in, so don't overdo it. Put the flakes on your cardstock over the top of your gel, and then just rub with your finger, and the flakes will attach to the gel, and where there is no gel it'll just wipe off. So rub quite firmly. I found that it will stick in between the gel, so it's a good idea to give it a good rub and make sure that you know what your design looks like. And if you rub where there's not supposed to be any gold leaf, well then it will come off. So just a matter of applying it, rubbing it on with your finger quite firmly, and then brushing all of the excess off, and you've got your design. Do make sure that you've got your bin handy, and try and do it over the top of a piece of scrap paper like I'm doing here, but that's no guarantee either. The flakes still get everywhere. So each one of those black panels was 5 inches square. So now I'm cutting some cardstock to go behind that panel to be the front of the card. So I'm cutting these pieces 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 so that they cover the whole white front of the card piece. I'm using some, what would you call it, bronze, I suppose, bronze coloured paper for the one with the gold leaf flowers on it. I'm using that sort of like magenta coloured glitter paper for the one with the mandala on it. And I'm using some purple cardstock for the one with the Pearl-Ex powder on it. As I said, each one of those will be 5 1/4 inches square. Once I have my 3 pieces cut to size, I'm going to use my black Versacolour ink cube to ink around the edges of the 3 coloured papers, and then I'm going to use double-sided tape to attach those to the fronts of my card bases. So I'm going to work on the card first that I use the gold leaf on. So the pattern paper, the plain paper that I used to back behind that panel, I'm going to cut a strip of that, and I'm going to attach a Kaiser Craft sticker. These are Kaiser Craft clear stickers. I have quite a few from many years ago. I don't even know if they still make them, to be honest. It was in the days of rub-ons. So these stickers are called Happy Birthday, but they're not a rub-on, they are a sticker. So if I can find them, I will link them in the description box below with the other products that I'm using, but I'll be very surprised if they're still around. Anyway, I'm going to stick one of those clear stickers onto that strip of plain paper, the bronzy coloured paper. It's just about identical to the colour of the gold leaf, so that worked out pretty well. And then I'm going to cut a little fishtail in each end of that. I use my art glitter glue to attach a piece of scrap chipboard to the back of that sentiment, and then I'll attach that to the top section of my card front. I've chosen a piece of fine lace from my stash, and I'm going to use some double-sided tape to attach that to the bottom section of my card front panel. I attach some double-sided tape to the back of the card, run the ribbon or the lace right around the card, and then tie it at the front. I'm hopeless with bows, so I've just done a double knot there. And then under sections of that front part, I just add a little bit of the double-sided tape just to hold it in place. Next, I'm going to use double-sided tape to attach that panel to the front of the card. For some reason, this piece of black cardstock buckled a bit, so none of the others did. So what I'm doing is I'm applying the double-sided tape to the whole area of the back, like all around the edge, that is. Instead of just putting a bit in each corner, I'm putting it the whole length of all 4 sides, so that when I attach it to the card front it will sit flat. So I'm going to work on my foiled card now. I have added a piece of scrap cardboard box to the back of my panel, and I'm now going to stick that onto my glitter paper using art glitter glue. I find that the art glitter glue does stick nicely to the glitter paper and doesn't come off. Now I think this card is quite striking as it is, so I'm not going to do a lot of embellishing on this. I have used one of the Great Sentiments from Paper Rose's Big Sentiments, and I run that through my laminator with the same foil that I used on the gel. I did that. These Paper Rose Sentiments come in black print on white paper or white print on black paper, and they're a laser sheet, so you can run foil and these sheets through your laminator and the foil will transfer onto your, where the black is actually on the label, on the sentiment. So I did one, and I did it with the white background and the foiled text. I put that onto my card. I attached it with double-sided tape, and once I looked at it again, I wasn't happy. The white just didn't gel. It was too white. It was too much. So I ended up taking that sentiment off and doing the same technique. So I ran the sentiment through my laminator with the foil on top, but I used the one that had the black background and the white text, and so I ended up with a foiled background and the white text saying happy birthday, and I was much happier with that. Now for my third card, I have this all over flower lace panel, and I have cut one of the flowers out and a couple of the leaves. I'm going to use my art glitter glue to attach the flower and the leaves to the front panel. Then I'm going to attach that panel to the front of the card. The sentiment I'm going to use on this card came in a uniquely creative kit. It's just white text on a black background. There's one there that says happy birthday, so I'm going to just use my scissors to cut that out. Then I'm going to add a bit of scrap chipboard to half of that and then lay it over the top of the flower. So the reason I've only applied chipboard to half is so that when it sits over the flower it sits level, because that chipboard will hold it up on the outside edge. Now I decided to add some stamping to the inside of my cards. I'm using this, what is it? It's a scrapbook.com stamp called Happy Birthday to You. I have fussy cut a pink flower and attached that to the inside of the card already, and now I'm using my stamping platform to stamp the stamp. I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and yeah, I'm using my stamping platform because there's a bit of dimension in this card, and I wanted to make sure that if I didn't stamp it properly the first time I was able to redo it without making a mess. So here's a look at all three cards inside and out. Thank you for watching my video today. I will put links below to the challenge over at Make the Card Challenge, and I'll also link in the description box the products I have used if you wanted to have a look at them. I'm sure you've probably got plenty of things in your stash that you can use yourself anyway. That Art Deco Foil Transfer Gel Duo has got so many uses. If you haven't got any of that, I would recommend getting it, because you can use your foils. Well, as you've seen today, there's quite a few ways you can use it. Anyway, thank you for watching my video, and I hope you can join me when I post my next video. Bye.